Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Happy Monday. This is Erika and Rachel here this morning with the cold call. Today, we're so excited. We have our very first guest with us. She is a mom, wife, businesswoman, and just so happens to be our CEO here at Brabo. Her name is Heather Hennessey. Welcome, Heather.
Good morning. How are you guys today?
We're good.
Getting back into the swing of things after the weekend.
Yeah, busy weekend. How about you?
Same, same.
Yeah. So, we're going to ask a couple questions and we'll see how this plays out. And we hope that you enjoy because we put a lot of thought into these questions to really dig into your mind. So, Rachel, go ahead.
All right, yes. So we want to know a little bit about Heather. Give us a little background on yourself and how you got here to this position.
Okay, going with just the open-ended. Here we go.
Yeah.
So, how did I get here? That's a great question. It was a long road, a very non-related road, I would say. So, I was pre-med actually. I went to college at Mass College of Pharmacy and did pre-med there. And then when I graduated, I went overseas to Dominica, to Ross University to start medical school there. At the time, Aiden, my oldest son, who's now 12, was a little over 1. And so Kevin and Aiden stayed behind back here in Mass, and I went over there and did that by myself for a while. And then Aiden started to talk. So he had basically wasn't speaking when I left. And so kind of watching him learn how to speak and navigate the world and ask for things that he wanted and needed at the time via Skype kind of broke my heart. So I didn't last very long with that going on. And I came home. When I came home, I kind of tried to figure out what I was going to do from there. I applied to schools to do like research opportunities and nursing, and none of that really panned out. But my dad is a business owner and owns his own businesses, several of them. And so I went to work with him for a little while. And basically, he had a lot of needs, a lot of kind of things that needed to get accomplished. And so I basically just worked my way up from there. I started doing dispatch for AAA when I first came home. And then by the time I left, almost 7 years later, I was running just about everything for him. So he owns an auto body shop, 2 towing businesses, and a bar. So I was doing hiring, firing, bookkeeping, bills. God, I did so many different things. I was RecMaster certified for towing, so I could pull your car out of a ditch if you needed that done. I got my appraiser's license, so I could write the appraisal on your vehicle when it came out of the ditch. So many different things that I learned there. And then Kevin started Brabo, and that didn't last very long. Probably about maybe 3-4 months before he realized that he needed a kind of a right-hand person. So I tried to do both for a little while, and that was really overwhelming. So, gosh, I think it couldn't have been more than 6 months in. I ended up leaving my dad's shop and doing all that stuff for him and came full-time over here to Brabo.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, and definitely a lot of things that I didn't realize. So you are definitely very versatile in what you have done and what you can do, which is so great. So I guess that brings us to the next question. So what's very interesting is that you and your husband Kevin, you run this company together. So what is that like? What is it like running a company with your spouse?
It's very, very difficult. I would say it is not for the faint of heart. I mean, running a business in and of itself is hard. Trying to do it with a spouse is adding fuel to the fire. Luckily, Kevin and I have figured it out pretty early on, how we both function, what makes each other tick, and what we're both good at and bad at. So I think recognizing that and then just bringing it to the forefront when controversies come up, which are bound to pretty frequently. When you run a business, you want to do one thing, they want to do the other. You don't agree. So I think just reminding each other, their point of view is really helpful. It wasn't easy, and I would say that it wasn't easy to get where we are now.
Yeah, I would have to imagine that it takes a toll on you, even in your personal life too, because you almost have to have like boundaries. So like, do you guys have a rule like when you're home, and it's family time, like you don't discuss, things at work, or, maybe you wait till the kids go to bed, or like, do you guys have like something where it's like you both agree on, waiting until the kids are in bed, or we don't talk about it when we're at home, or you just kind of play it by ear?
I would say we probably play it by ear. Kevin is the opposite of me. Oh God, the train is coming. So Kevin is always on. He's just always on. He's always been that way, which is a little bit tough, as obviously a mom, to try and, be dealing with him and whatever, is exciting him at the moment. And then trying to take care of the children at the same time can sometimes be difficult. So I have to like remind him, like, hey, like, let's schedule a time to talk about this. Or depending on what the matter is, it may be something that needs to be addressed right then and there. But I'd say we've done a pretty good job. Kind of early on, it was really tough. Definitely, like when Connor was first born, having a newborn and trying to run a business is like nightmarish. So I would say when he was younger, it was definitely, there was a lot more attention, I think, at home trying to deal with that. But now that Connor's older, it's a little bit easier to navigate those waters.
Well, I will definitely say working for you both, and obviously I'm just kind of an outsider looking in, but I think you guys balance each other out really well. I think you're like a perfect match because, I feel like you guys can just kind of, feed off of each other and kind of balance.
Yeah, I
balance it
feel
out.
as though you probably have to like rein Kevin in when he needs it, and maybe the only one who can.
Yep.
But he's so excitable and so energetic that it's hard not to feed off of that at the same time. But I mean, it's so hard owning your own business, but then it's almost like double because the two of you are both dependent on this business. So it's not like you're, married to somebody that owns their own business and then you work for somebody else, like when everything hit this year, like it's obviously going to affect both of you, but this is like your sole, you're providing for your family as well as other families. So I think that that's like a huge accomplishment, but also like probably a major stressor that this is like your sole income for the both of you. Like this one business is, you're very dependent on the success of this business, and that can be stressful, I'm sure, at the same time too.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Definitely stressful. But like you guys both pointed out, we're like kind of polar opposites. So, we definitely is like yin and yang. Where he might go over the top, I kind of come in and, like you said, reel him back in.
Yeah.
Same thing. And sometimes things that I might not be willing to take a risk on are things that he definitely is. And, that's part of the reason how we've gotten to where we are. So it definitely works well. And you're right, we're both like fully vested in this business, but it also works to our advantages. We kind of, though, we'll own this business together, we kind of have our each different departments. So, where he's kind of running the sales and I'm kind of running the service. It helps to kind of keep us separated, each in our own lane, I think, for the most part. kind of having control of each of those areas is helpful.
So maybe the answer is Kevin, but I highly doubt it. So if you had to choose somebody in your life that's been like a mentor or who has influenced you on a business level that kind of motivates you or inspires you, who would that be?
I would probably have to go with my dad. Though it comes from a completely different world, and he runs his business much different than we run ours. I would say most of my work ethic and what I've learned has probably come from my father. Might describe him as a workaholic, but just never gives up, always puts, his best foot forward, puts as much effort and energy as he possibly can into everything he does. And most of the time there isn't a plan B, it's plan A. And you just do what you have to do to make it happen.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd go with my dad.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's awesome to grow up and have somebody to kind of look up to and instill that hard work in you and lead by example. So we know that you were going to med school, and maybe that would apply to this next question or not. If you weren't doing this and you could choose any other profession, what would it be and why?
Wow, I really don't know. And that might just come back from it's plan A and there is no plan B.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I've never really, I don't know. I don't look back. I don't really kind of look in the rearview mirror. It seems so far, God, I can't even find the right word, long ago, that I was in medical school and kind of going down that career path.
All right. Well, how about we switch it up a little bit then? If you weren't living in Plymouth and you did not own your business here and you could live anywhere else, where would you choose?
All right. God, anywhere warm, I would think. If I didn't have to think about it, anywhere warm.
Snow's not for you?
It is not. I like the 4 seasons and I like the snow and I like the fall, but I don't know. I think like that's kind of like a demotivator for me. I don't do well when it starts to get cold, but I could never leave just based on the business and family.
Right.
But if those things weren't in the picture, I'd go somewhere warm. I don't know, Bermuda, Hawaii. I have no idea.
Yeah, same.
Yes, I agree.
Totally same. All right, real quick. Starbucks or Dunkin's?
Dunkin'? I don't even know. So I was dying on the first podcast, Rachel, and you're like, it's never the same when you make it at home. I prefer to make my coffee at home.
I wish I was like that. I would save a lot of money.
So sometimes I like to go out and get a, pumpkin spice latte or something here and there, but I think a lot of it is just too sweet for me. I prefer to just make it at home, to be honest.
So do you use K-Cup or
But
do you...
yes, okay. So here's the kicker. If I was going to go get coffee, I'd go to Dunkin', but the K-Cups I use are from Starbucks.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay.
Mexican or Italian?
Mexican all the way. Tacos for life.
Tacos for life. Totally.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Is that even a question? Chocolate? Like
Actually, we do know that because of your birthday cake that Gabby had picked out for you.
Right.
Yes, you love Godiva chocolate, right?
Yep, I do.
All right. Well, thank you so much for playing along. It was nice to get to know some of the ins and outs and where everything started from. Yes. So we totally appreciate you coming on and letting us drill you a little bit.
And so really quick, what is one thing that our listeners would never guess about you?
Oh, geez. I don't know. I mean, I would probably go with that. I can pull your car out of a ditch. We're master certified, but we already went down that road. That would probably be it. That would probably be the one thing that I don't think people would assume or know about me.
So when Rachel's going 90 on her way to work and she drives into a ditch, we should call you instead.
Yes, I sincerely hope that doesn't happen, but I can help you out if you
I do
need it.
too. And since then, just for the record, I have slowed down a little bit, just a little bit. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Heather, and for being our first guest. We look forward to many more conversations.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.